Dodge Dakota has best-in-class cargo and available payload capacity.
Woo! What is that? You can put your arms down, you know. That'll be good.
America trusts Fox News Channel. Tonight at 10, for the very latest updates on the attack against America, stay with the Fox News Edge. Then at 11, watch the O'Reilly Factor for in-depth analysis you won't find anywhere else, only on Fox News Channel.
The O'Reilly Factor is on tonight. The terrorists open a second front against America. We'll tell you how bad this anthrax attack is and separate fact from fiction. Is Saddam Hussein behind the anthrax? We'll tell you what we know about that. Some Americans are still refusing to acknowledge that the terrorists are evil. We'll try to figure that one out. And one influential bishop says knee-jerk religion is not the answer to America's problems. Caution, you're about to enter a no-spin zone. Factor begins in 90 seconds.
Fox News Live, I'm Kieran Chetry. Investigators checked the Illinois home of U.S. House Speaker Dennis Hastert for possible anthrax exposure. His spokesman says it was checked tonight after the Hastert family told authorities that there was a strange letter. A family member called police after opening a handwritten letter from Kentucky. It's being sent to a lab in Chicago for analysis. Hastert was not home during the time of that incident. President Bush is heading to China for an Asian summit. Before leaving, he stopped at Travis Air Force Base in California to thank the troops there. He also hinted that the next phase of the war on terrorism could begin soon. And Secretary of State Colin Powell has landed in Shanghai for that very same summit. Earlier, he met with the Indian Prime Minister. Powell's hoping to ease tensions between India and neighboring Pakistan after intense fighting broke out over the Kashmir region. United Airlines says it will shut down next year if business doesn't pick up. Employees got a letter from the company's CEO today that warned the airline may be forced out of business. United plans to cut 20,000 jobs. And Ford Motors also facing a rocky financial road. The automaker is reporting a $700 million loss in the third quarter. Sales dropped 9%. That is our update. We'll be back again for you at the bottom of the hour. I'm Kieran Chetry. The O'Reilly Factor is up next.
Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly reporting tonight from Oakland, California. Thanks for watching us. Are the terrorists winning the war? That's the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. There's no question that sneak attacks can be effective, and Americans are on the defensive right now because of the terrorist action. It is worth noting that attacking innocent civilians with germs and jetliners is against every civilized rule of warfare ever designed. These terrorists have made a mockery out of the Geneva Convention, and they aren't warriors. They're simply common killers. Infecting babies with anthrax is about as cowardly as it gets. So the terrorists have succeeded in disrupting America and spooking many of us, but there's still much more of this fight left. Americans must accept the reality of war, especially one being fought with no rules. Barbaric, disturbing things are going to happen in the future, and there's nothing any of us can do about it. We simply must allow our government to annihilate the cowards who have attacked us. Americans also must be skeptical of some reporting. For example, today, Speaker of the House, Dennis Hastert, told Americans there was anthrax in the ventilation system of the Capitol building. That's not the case. Speaker Hastert made a mistake. So all of us must not react to what we are hearing. We have to calm down and examine the evidence. Think about this. What good does it do you if you're worrying about anthrax? If you're cautious, there's nothing else you can do. Worrying about things out of your control is destructive and foolish. All of this anthrax stuff has just made me angrier and more determined to support our government in the war against terror. I believe we're going to win the war. And I believe it's imperative for Americans to be courageous. For in the end, a person is measured by how he or she reacts in times of stress. Stay strong, stay determined. We'll get these guys. And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight, what's really going on at the nation's capital? Joining us from the Senate gallery is Senator John Kerry from Massachusetts. You know, Senator, when I heard that Speaker Hastert saying in the ventilation system, I didn't necessarily believe it because I'm trained to be skeptical, but I went, whoa, if they can get to the highest levels, past the highest levels of security in our country, this takes on a whole new meaning. What did you think, and what was the reality of the situation?
Well, I knew that was incorrect at the time. And it's unfortunate, I think. And let me just say, Bill, I could not agree more. That was a terrific opening memo, and I appreciate enormously what you just said. That is exactly on point. We have to understand exactly what's going on, and we will ultimately succeed. I mean, I ask people today, some of my staff, I mean, who would you rather be? Would you rather be Osama bin Laden hiding in a cave with 2,000 2,000-pound bombs dropping around you, or be an American, free to go out in your car tonight, go to the movies, do what we want? We are still not under siege here. We are disrupted. We are certainly anxious in the country in certain quarters, but even that, I think, has to be put in perspective. For somebody to get inhaled anthrax infection, you have to breathe in 10,000 of those spores. And knowing what we now know about the letters and the transmission efforts, we are alerted significantly enough that we've been able to move on every single case since the case in Florida, which was the first. I think Americans need to understand that our health system is geared up, everybody is alert, and they are not going to penetrate the Capitol, and we're going to be here doing business tomorrow in order to show that.
All right, but they are closing the House down, Senator, Thursday and Friday for testing, and they are going through what they have to go through and to make sure that you guys are protected. Right, it's precautionary, and we appreciate that they're doing it. But my question to you is this. I've been to the Senate many times, actually one of the few journalists in the country who spoke on the floor of the House of Representatives. Security is unbelievable. It's unbelievable there before the terror attack. I mean, you got plenty of marshals around, plenty of security. The fact that they could even get a letter into Tom Daschle's office is disturbing, is it not?
Well, the letter came in through the normal mail system, and at the time that happened, we were actually in the process. We had expert mail people up here at the time. They were actually setting out new procedures for the handling of mail, and it just got in under the wire, so to speak. But even that, I think, you have to look at it as minimalist. I mean, the fact that a number of staff people, and all of us feel terrible for them. I mean, they have come here to do the country's business, and now they're caught up in the middle of this, and their families are frightened. And I think our hearts go out to them. But on the other hand, the good news is that all we found is evidence of some spores, which is very different from infection. They are 100% certain to be okay. They're going to be treated with the antibiotics.
They just tested positive that they were exposed to it. Last question for you, Senator, because, I mean, you face danger in your life eye to eye. Are you as angry about this as I am? I'm really, really angry. And I don't brook a lot of, compromise talk. I mean, I'll listen to it and I'll be reasonable here. But I'm taking this really personally. You know what I mean? I
couldn't agree with you more. I mean, every day that goes by that I see one aspect or another of our life affected the way it has been, I get angry. And my resolve just deepens that we are going to do everything and anything necessary to prevent these fellows from doing this in the long run. And ultimately, Bill, we're going to make this country and the world safer because of what we're willing to do here.
I believe that. But, it's interesting to hear you say that because you were against the Vietnam War, and you made a measure there, and you made a decision there. But this isn't anything like that.
Well, it's very different, Bill. Remember, I went to Vietnam, I fought in Vietnam, and I didn't turn against the war until I came back here, having experienced the lack of support, the lack of clarity, the lack of mission. We have the support, we have the clarity, we have the mission, and we have a generational obligation to make certain that we deal with this kind of terrorism. And we're going to do it.
That's an interesting phrase, a generational obligation. We have a mandate, not only you, the leaders, but we as citizens, to protect the children of this country from these barbarian murderers. I'll give you the last word.
I think that every generation gets tested. President Kennedy spoke of that in the 1960s. We've learned a lot since then. And we are more measured clearly in where we choose to fight. But in this case, we're not only measured, we are right, we are clear, we understand exactly what we're trying to achieve. And it's going to be difficult in the long run. This is not easy. This is different from anything we've ever faced before because of the ability of people who are prepared to kill themselves and in the effort to take a lot of people with them and to do so against civilians. is different from the wars.
Right, but we can't weaken, Senator. We got to be strong no matter what happens. We got to be strong.
I believe this country will remain unified in its purpose, and our resolve is clear. And I think ultimately these folks have greatly misjudged the United States of America.
I believe that too. Senator, thanks very much. Always a pleasure to see you. Next, we have put together two experts, the best people we can find on this anthrax deal. They're going to give us a no-spin look at it. We'll be right back.
These babies are not models. They were conceived using the Clear Plan Easy fertility monitor. It unmistakably tells you more fertile days each cycle than any leading method, so you have the best chance to get pregnant. Clear Plan, clear results.
The general is a prisoner.
I'm not fighting anymore.
But the warden...
Take that man down.
...is a criminal.
I'm taking command of your prison.
Now the fight begins. Robert Redford, James Gandolfini, The Last Castle, rated R, starts this Friday.
In the past, serious and persistent mental illness meant only isolation and despair. But today, with better treatments and more support, there's new hope. For more on mental health information and resources from the Center for Reintegration, visit freeservices.webmd.com. Today, George will earn a raise, Laura will move in on her own, and Matt will create a sunrise. Visit freeservices.webmd.com. Reintegration. Back to work. Back to life.
Son, I think it's time we had that little talk.
Okay, Dad.
Well, I know it's kind of awkward, but you're old enough now, and it's time you learned about supply chain management. See, it's all about businesses sourcing materials and delivering products to market more efficiently. You follow?
Okay, so not everyone understands supply chain management, but we do. CNF. We straighten out supply chains for leading companies worldwide. CNF, where supply meets demand.
There's been some dramatic declines in the stock market in the last year. Historically, we have a decline of 10% or more about once every 2 years. That's the nature of the market. Even in good markets, we have declines. If you don't understand that, you're not going to be a good investor. Since World War II, we've had 9 recessions. Guess what? Corporate profits have gone up about 60-fold since World War II. The stock market's up over 60-fold. The stock market historically has been a very good place to be over every 20-year period. That's why you invest in the stock market.
In the Impact segment tonight, there are now 46 cases of exposure to anthrax in the USA. 3 of those people actually have anthrax poisoning. Another person has died, of course. Joining us now is Eric Crotty, a senior research associate at the Monterey Institute of International Studies and the author of the book Chemical and Biological Warfare, a Common Sense Guide for the Informed Citizen. And in Washington, D.C., Maurice Sonnenberg, the former vice chairman for the National Commission on Terrorism. Mr. Crotty, I want to get your reaction to the fact that still, after all these attacks, the authorities in Washington are saying they're not convinced it's terrorism. I'm convinced it's terrorism. Am I crazy?
No, I think it's as close to bioterrorism as you could possibly get. The only fine line could be drawn between a biocrime and perhaps a more organized attack.
But see, I see linkage to the attack in New York and the attack in Washington to this, because you would have had to plan this out pretty well in advance to get the anthrax to, target all the things, would you not?
You're absolutely right. And let's say it was an accelerated program similar to the U.S. biological warfare program. There's still a fair amount of time it would take to isolate, grow, sporulate, and prepare the...
So it had to be done way before 11 September. And Mr. Sonnenberg, we were speaking, and you said there are other things the government could have done to help in this fight against the anthrax situation, but they have not. What are those things?
Well, we recommended that there be legislation put on to, for example, register, certification of pathogens. I mean, a terrorist could have easily imported, steal, whatever they wanted to do. The Congress has not seen fit yet, which they will do, I know now, but they have not seen fit to put through the laws to make one. For example, let's take research and development. There should be a lot more money put into something which would have something like a beam, for example, a biological ultraviolet beam that could perhaps remove the pathogen. And as I said before, the movement and the laboratories and the critical equipment needed for this, there aren't laws against this.
All right, so you would just outlaw any kind of facility that would make anthrax easier to move. They will do that, but I don't think this would...
No, I don't think... I didn't say outlaw, I'd say certify.
All right, whatever you want to do, I don't think it's going to stop Saddam Hussein if he wants to give anthrax to some of these terrorists to come over here and create havoc, which is what I see this as. I see this as a continuing movement for these Islamic fundamentalists to attack America. That's the way I see it. Do you see it that way?
Yes, I do. I think that there's a concerted effort here. I do not think it's a local, as one might point out, kooks. No, this is organized, yes.
Right. Okay. Now, Mr. Crotty, when people hear anthrax, they panic. Sure. You know, and I got in a discussion with a Harvard professor. He said, well, people aren't spooked. They are spooked. Yes. All right. I've now been to 6 states since September 11th, and they're spooked. Right. What can you say to calm them down?
Perhaps the only thing you could say is this. Seeing a white powder means one of two things. Most likely it's a hoax. In the unlikely event that this is Bacillus anthracis, the causative agent of anthrax, you're still going to be all right. The good news is that if you've seen that yourself could have been possibly exposed.
But what about the poor guy in Florida who died in the building?
Right. Well, unfortunately, in bioterrorism events, we are going to have some people who are going to succumb to a disease by the time we figure out what's happening.
Right, because it got into the ventilation system and there was enough of it in there that he breathed it in over a period of time, right?
It was a tragic and very unlucky thing to have happened.
Right, and he was the first and nobody was figuring out what's coming. Now, Mr. Sonnenberg, do you feel the same way as Mr. Crotty that this, it's not a hysteria, it's just a deep concern on the part of many people?
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. I think there's a little bit of alarmist business going on here. For example, the evacuation of the house today, I think was a bit alarmist. I think what the public has to understand that there is a method of control here, that this is not an outbreak of a mass anthrax attack, and that if the public looks upon it calmly, they'll understand this is more isolated in a sense than it is a huge attack.
All right, let's make a leap here, Mr. Sonnenberg, because you're a very, very smart guy.
Thank you.
And I don't say that in a patronizing way, but I mean, you know what you're talking about, which is why we have you on the program. I believe that this anthrax outbreak here had to be state-sponsored. It had to come from somewhere who had been developing this for a long period of time, and they gave it to these terrorists who moved it on in here. Is that the scenario that you see?
Possibly. Remember, a lot of these people who have been involved in this have gone to, funnily enough, many universities in this country and universities around the world. They have their degrees in biochem, physics, and what have you. It is conceivable that it may or may not be state-sponsored. Your theories are not wrong, but understand that it could also have been done by a group like Al-Qaeda on their own.
All right, Mr. Crotty, you see it that way?
Very possibly so. A few years ago, the Department of Defense intimated, without having saying so explicitly, that Al-Qaeda had possessed or at least was seeking anthrax.
All right.
So it's not beyond the realm of possibility.
Well, we'll track these guys down. We're going to let these guys have it. Gentlemen, as always, we thank you very much. And again, we want everybody to be calm. The situation is under control now. Believe me, I would tell you if it was out of control. When anthrax attacks the nation's capital, my question is, what kind of security is in place there? We're going to answer that question with a guy who worked right in the Capitol, keeping the bad guys out, in a moment.
Do you want to throw away a 6-figure income job to be a minimum wage babysitter?
Your teacher set up a fight right in his classroom. Did you know this was going on under your nose? Do you know your son is in a gang, sir?
There have been other television series about high school.
He was getting your kid to fight with his fist because he was afraid one of the boys would settle things with a gun.
This one is in a class by itself.
Teenagers don't look ahead, Stephen. You can't be so naive to think you'll change that.
The new season of the hit series Boston Public, Monday, October 29th on Fox.
Used to be, I could set fire to the keyboard. But recently, it felt like my arthritis was choosing the notes. I thought my jazz days were numbered. But my doctor said no way. For minor arthritis, you've got to keep those joints moving. And he recommended Advil to make it easier. It's strong enough to let me control the pain, and Advil is gentle on my stomach. Hear that? That's me playing again.
Take Advil and take control.
America trusts America Online to make everything easy.
It's just real simple to keep in touch with AOL.
Oh, I love hearing you've got mail.
Instant messages are so much fun.
And now AOL makes it easier to get health information with WebMD.
I discovered WebMD.
WebMD is America's leading source of health information online. Communities on everything from diabetes to weight loss.
Love the chat room.
A site that I trust.
AOL has got it all.
Now Now's the perfect time to experience America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. Call 1-800-4ONLINE.
In and out. Good. Keep the victim calm. And 1, and 2, and 3, and...
Okay, there you go. That's over 100 channels, sports, news, digital music. Installation's free, and it's only $31.99 a month.
Just $31.99 a month gets you over 100 channels of DirecTV programming. Right now with free professional installation.
So it was the digital music that... Yeah.
Coming up in 1 minute on The Factor, the anthrax scare takes over Capitol Hill. How vulnerable are our political leaders? Plus, why won't some people just admit Osama bin Laden is evil? Factor returns in 60 seconds.
I believe I should do a weekend of shopping in an hour.
I believe I should surf without tying up the phone.
I believe in anything that makes homework more fun.
More of the internet you want? You better believe it. It's AT&T at Home, the high-speed cable internet service from AT&T Broadband.
I believe in banishing the sounds and dial-up modems forever.
I believe in downloading the top 40.
Well, it's still the top 40.
Dude. Call now and let this great deal on AT&T at Home make a believer out of you.
I believe I will.
AT&T Broadband. Believe in it.
What's the most expensive part of a car? The engine? The transmission? Well, for most of us, it's the financing. And that's important to know because right now, Landmark Ford is offering rates as low as 0% on all new cars and trucks. Finance this Expedition for 60 months and you'll save more than $10,000 in interest alone. More than $10,000. But the program ends soon, so see us now at Landmark Ford in Tiger, just off 55 at the Haines Street exit.
Get more! Get less!
The Unresolved Problem segment tonight. The big story today is the closing of the House of Representatives to sweep it for anthrax. It will be closed until Tuesday. This is partially caused by Speaker Dennis Hassard saying there was anthrax in the ventilation system. That scared the hell out of everybody. It wasn't true, thank God. Joining us now from Washington is Joe Powell, a former detective sergeant with the U.S. Capitol Police who served on that force for almost 30 years and who really knows the area and the turf in D.C. Detective, when you heard there was anthrax in the ventilation system, I guess you heard it on the news like everybody else, did you say no way that couldn't happen?
Yes, I did.
Why?
It surprised me that someone would be able to circumvent the security system at the Capitol and do such a horrible act.
Are you very, very confident that no terrorist could get into the Capitol and do damage to our leaders? And if so, why are you confident?
Well, number one, I have a great deal of confidence after serving with the Capitol Police for nearly 30 years on the training and the personnel that are there to protect the United States Capitol and all of its employees. And I find that with the dedication and the longevity of the department within itself, that it would be somewhat impossible or improbable that one would be able to penetrate the security system.
All right, because as I said to Senator Kerry, I've been in the Senate many times, and I agree. After that shooting, remember that terrible shooting? You were there.
Yes.
When the guy came in with the gun and started mowing people down, everything changed in the Capitol. You tightened everything up, correct?
Yes, I'm quite sure that there were procedures that were put in place that had not been put in place before.
All right. Now, I don't want to ask you exactly what those procedures are because we don't want to tip off any of the bad guys to what you're doing, and I think everybody will respect that. But there is one weak point, and that's the mailroom, is it not? The mailroom, mail comes in there. You can have anything you want in that mail, right?
I would not say that there is a weak point within the system, the security system of the Capitol complex. But no system is unpenetrable. If any evil entity wanted to put in place the time and the effort.
But how can you stop the biological germs coming in through the mail? You can't really stop it because if you X-ray it, that's not going to show up. How can you possibly stop that?
Well, what you are saying is something different than what I would say, that if you X-ray it, it would not show up. There are other means of detecting biological agents within the mail system, which I'm quite sure that is at the disposal of the United States Capitol Police. And I'm
then how
quite
come
sure
it got through to the Daschle people? How come it got through to Daschle's office if that stuff's in place?
Well, I would not be privy to say why it did or why it did not get through.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about now here. I mean, you see,
Yes,
when a terrorist gets through to that level of government and gets through to the Senate Majority Leader's office and people get sick, you know, naturally Americans are going to go, hey, what's going on? Can't they protect them? And you're telling me you're confident that they can protect them, but I'm not so sure.
Well, we're not only dealing with the security system that encompasses the United States Capitol Police, we're dealing with the security system that encompasses our mail system throughout the country. And I think that we have to rely on the professional status of our mail inspectors and people that are working within the United States Postal Service.
All right, well, everyone's on alert now, but I still see a vulnerability in the mailroom, and I'm sure that now every piece of mail is going to be looked at and screened and all of that, so it's going to be a lot harder. But even my own mail detective, I mean, you know, we can't stop people from sending stuff in that's untraceable. It's very, very difficult. We appreciate your time tonight very much, and thanks for the service for your country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
Plenty more ahead as the Factor moves along this evening. Unbelievably, some Americans simply will not accept that terrorists are evil. And we're talking about intelligent Americans with a lot of influence, especially on college campuses. We'll find out all about that. And a prominent bishop says turning to religion in this time of war may not be the answer. We hope you stay tuned for those reports.
Faced a lot of challenges this past year, but nothing can prepare them for her.
Are you a real teacher?
Are you a real student?
Jerry Ryan joins the cast of Boston Public Monday, October 29th on Fox.
Abner, we're rich.
We're rich?
It's our new litter. It's got diamonds in it.
You are mistaken, my friends. The diamonds are odor-absorbing crystals in new Tidy Cats Crystals Blend.
Whatever.
New Tidy Cats Crystals Blend.
Our fundamental commitment to the financial well-being of every one of our investors, individually, has not changed. The prudent counsel of our financial advisors in over 500 offices across America, informed by our worldwide network of resources, has not changed. The strength and dedication of all of us at Morgan Stanley has not changed and will not change.
They all laughed at Christopher Columbus when he said the world was round. They all laughed when Edison recorded sound.
So who is Motor Trend's 2002 Sport Utility of the Year? The GMC Envoy. Those who say America can't compete don't take test drives. We are professional grade.
Whoa, 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 who's got the last laugh now?
When I start each morning. When my kids need a playmate.
Prozac Weekly is here. Ask your doctor if it's right for you. For a limited time, you can try Prozac Weekly for 1 month free. Visit freemonth.webmd.com to learn more and print out your coupon from Prozac Weekly. Talk to your doctor today to see if Prozac Weekly could be right for you. Prozac Weekly is here.
Anthrax, America under attack. First media outlets, then government offices. Now, our nation's capital. Who will they target next? With our national security threatened, can a federal investigation uncover who's really behind this biological warfare? Watch Anthrax, What We Know, a Fox News Channel special.
Hi, I'm Edie Donahue. On the next Fox and Friends, with our nation on edge, what can we do to stop terrorists from striking again at home? Find out 6 a.m. Eastern.
In the personal story segment tonight, the Berkeley, California City Council voted last night 5-4 to urge the government to end the military action in Afghanistan. Stupid, foolish, of course. There's no question about it. The question is, how did these people get elected in the first place? With us now is the mayor of Berkeley and the chairperson of the city council, Shirley Dean. You know, we had Donna Spring on last night, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I respect the fact that the Berkeley City Council come on and talk to me, number one. I do respect that. But she had no answers to my questions. You saw the interview. And I'm saying to myself, I don't understand their thinking. I don't understand how they see the world. Can you explain that to me?
I'm not sure that I can, because I have a little different viewpoint than they do. But they seem to be kind of repeating the 60s anti-war scenario, not really understanding that the issues today are really quite different.
So they're back in the anti-war times, even when you explain to them, hey, it's not the same, we're under attack, we need to use maximum military force to protect our people. But they never have a solution, do they?
Well, Donna's solution was to sue Afghanistan in the World Court. It sounds like it might work, but I don't know how you would logistically do it.
You couldn't.
I don't know how you would.
It's impossible. What, are you going to drive police cars in through Uzbekistan and say, hey, you saw them, pull over? I mean, they'd be annihilated. It's so far-fetched and so ridiculous. And I spoke last night in Berkeley, and 3,000 people showed up, and they were very well behaved. And I feel bad for your town. It's embarrassing.
Berkeley is a wonderful place. It's a thoughtful, exciting community, lots of very well-educated people, lots of people who think through the issues very carefully, and it's quite divided. My mail, for example, is running heavily against the resolution that the City Council passed last night.
But do you realize the rest of America watching The Factor tonight and hearing Ms. Spring and the other people, they think you guys are a bunch of nuts. They call you berserkly.
I know, and I hate that term. Unfortunately, many people are talking about boycotting Berkeley. I checked the last 26 phone calls that my office logged in today. 20 of them talked about boycotting Berkeley financially, never coming to the city to spend any money. I got an angry phone call from a business owner who said he lost a $60,000 contract today because of what the council did.
And you can understand the anger that people feel against Berkeley because of this insane 5-4 vote, even though we must say that the mayor voted against the resolution, and you look like a perfectly sane, logical person to me. But I just don't understand why these other 5 people got elected in the first place.
Well, they're elected from districts in the city, and they campaigned, and it's a democratic process.
Is there a big anti-American sentiment in Berkeley? No. Are there a lot of people who hate this country there? No. You don't believe that?
Even the people, even the people who voted for the resolution, I believe that they think they're being very patriotic, and I think they're sincere in that belief.
But
they have a different view.
Aren't most of them socialists and utopians, and you know, this crazy thing that we all should have peace and love and live together, and if I have more money than you are entitled to take it from me? I mean, because that's really what this is all about. They don't like capitalism. They want everybody to be the same, you know, as communism tries to do. And that's really what underlies a lot of the Berkeley philosophy.
Well, I actually don't see it that way. I do see that there are many fine people in the city of Berkeley.
That's for sure.
Who are very concerned about this issue, who are very concerned about our country. You can see flags flying there. You can hear people say we support our troops. Last night at the council meeting, there were people waving American flags in that audience.
Now listen, Mayor, I got to tell you something. We know that all the people in Berkeley are insane idiots, all right? We know that. But your town is always going to have a stigma. And believe me, Americans will take their money out of that town unless these kooks are voted out of office. So the next time around, you might have to, you know, say, hey, they're hurting all of us by this nutty stuff. You know, vote for people who actually have some sanity. Mayor, we appreciate you coming in and talking to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. And next, President Bush calls them evildoers. I'm with him on that, and so are most Americans, but not all. We'll talk with a college dean who does not like the evil label on Osama bin Laden when we continue from California.
Kieran Chetri. President Bush warned that airstrikes on Afghanistan would be relentless, and so far he's keeping good on his word. Steve Harrigan comes to us from Bagram, Afghanistan now with more.
One of the heaviest days of airstrikes so far. We've seen pre-dawn attacks, early morning attacks, and just a few hours ago, evening attacks as well. Most of those attacks falling behind the mountains on points in and around the Afghan capital, Kabul, but also some of those strikes north of the mountains, targeting Taliban frontline positions. Now, that's something the opposition, the Northern Alliance here, has been lobbying heavily for. It's been a real controversial point whether or not to hit those Taliban troop positions, possibly opening up a way into Kabul for the Northern Alliance. As far as the opposition goes, they have been doing their part. Increased activity here all along the front line. It appears that the Northern Alliance has pulled up artillery pieces because we've heard those big guns going off all day, something we have not heard before now. Finally, one more point. We've heard a lot of talk about defections, about movement from the Taliban over to the other side, over to the Northern Alliance. Finally, we are beginning to see videotaped evidence of that, the fact that some Taliban fighters have decided that it's time to come over to the opposition.
We'll be back at the top of the hour here on Fox.
Okay, I'm here.
Good. I just wanted to make sure that the new computers are ready to ship.
They're ready.
And they're loaded with the latest operating system?
They're loaded. Shh.
And your store guys are ready to teach people all the stuff they can do?
They're all set.
You know, Ted, you're lucky to have a cow for a best friend. Dogs are so overrated.
In and out. Good. Keep the victim calm. And 1, and 2, and 3, and...
Okay, there you go. That's over 100 channels, sports, news, digital music. Installation's free, and it's only $31.99 a month.
Just $31.99 a month gets you over 100 channels of DirecTV programming. Right now with free professional installation.
So it was the digital music that... Yeah.
These little town blues are melting away.
We'll make a brand new start of it in old New York. If we can make it there, we'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York.
Come to Broadway and let's go on with the show.
Are you near a phone? Can you take down a number? Then call to find out about term life insurance at competitive rates from a respected insurer, Protective Life Insurance Company. A 35-year-old could get a $200,000 policy for less than $14 a month. A 40-year-old could get a $250,000 policy for less than $18 a month. For your free quote, call now. Matrix Direct, 1-800-728-3117.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the second personal story segment tonight. You may remember earlier this week I quoted an article written by University of Illinois Chicago Liberal Arts and Sciences Dean Stanley Fish in the New York Times. Dean Fish said, "We have not seen the face of evil. We have seen the face of an enemy who comes at us with a full roster of grievances, goals, and strategies. If we reduce that enemy to evil, we conjure up a shape-shifting demon, a wild-card moral anarchist beyond our comprehension and therefore beyond the reach of any counter-strategies." Dean Fish joins us now from Chicago. Well, I'm really happy you came on the program, Dean, because your article was extremely well written and well thought out, and I disagreed with it in the sense that I think that this is a very black-white situation here. And when President Bush comes on and says, "Hey, the evildoers, we got to get them," I'm with that. I'm with him. I don't need to know too much more than that based upon the activities of these people. Where am I going wrong?
Well, I think that the "we got to get them" part is right, but I don't think that calling them evildoers helps very much. I kind of reserve evil for sociopathic personalities, people who do bad things for no reason at all. For example, in the anthrax discussion you were having earlier, either the anthrax letter writers are part of this conspiracy, or they are just people who get their kicks by harming as many people as they can. Bad acts in both cases, but only one set of bad acts is simply evil. The other set of bad acts, the ones attached to the terrorist agenda, are bad acts that flow from a rationality and a plan and design we oppose. So I don't think it's helpful to call these people evil, because that detaches them from an agenda and a plan that we might get to know, and thereby be in a better position to fight it.
All right. See, I disagree with you entirely. Number one, I think they're sociopaths. I don't think they have any human feeling at all. You don't send anthrax to somebody and a baby gets it. You don't crash a jet plane into an office building where people who have babies and children at home die for no reason at all. Number two, Osama bin Laden has no agenda in the sense that he says, I want to defeat America so that A and B and C happen. Because all he wants is to ignite a worldwide conflagration that destroys everything, so that his crazy vision of what Allah wants will prevail. This is delusionary. It's insanity. It's not based upon history. It's not based upon Osama bin Laden wanting to improve the lot of his people. All it is basically the Inquisition all over again. Let's kill the infidels if they don't think the way we do. That's evil, Dean, and I don't think we need to really understand it to deal with it, you know? You deal with evil in two... Wait a minute, and I'll give you a big, long time to answer. You deal with evil in two ways. You contain it, which means you isolate it behind bars, or you kill it. That's it. There's no third option. Go ahead.
Well, I think that the phrase that you use that I would pick up on is the crazy vision. Now, you and I will well agree that this vision is based on distortions, misunderstandings, and above all, on a desire to destroy us, and therefore we have every right to oppose it. But it is a vision. It is a moral vision. It's a vision with history.
No, let me stop you there. You say it's a moral vision. Adolf Hitler had a vision. His vision was a world without Jews, because he hated Jews for whatever psychopathic reason. Now, I don't assign that as a motivation for Adolf Hitler's behavior. I simply say, he's evil, we need to get rid of him.
Well, look, you said you'd let me speak.
Go ahead.
The moral vision of Hitler is a moral vision. We have to distinguish between moralities we approve and moralities we despise. A morality simply means that someone who has one has a worldview in which certain kinds of outcomes are desired and certain kinds of strategies are necessary. Acknowledging that someone has a moral vision doesn't prevent us for a second from saying that moral vision is one we rightly reject, and we should fight against it with every reserve that we have.
But Dean, you're smarter than me.
There's no advantage whatsoever to calling these people insane, irrational, and evil. All it does is put them into a category where their actions come from nowhere. If we understand where their actions are coming from, we have a better chance of trying to figure out what they might do next and then moving to combat it.
No, I disagree. Number one, you're smarter than I am. You're smarter than I am, but you're giving credibility to Adolf Hitler and Osama bin Laden, a credibility that I don't believe they have. Okay?
I'm not giving them credibility.
Well, you're saying they have a moral vision by entertaining their point of view, Dean, by not outright rejecting it the way I do. You give it a certain amount of credibility. You've actually thought about them, about their vision. I don't even think about Hitler's vision or Osama bin Laden's vision. I say, and President Bush says, we're going to destroy it. We don't care where it came from. It's bad for humanity. It goes. And you know why that's better? And I'm going to give it a last word for a minute. It's better that way because there's no moral hesitation on our part to do what's necessary, which is to annihilate them. There's no hesitation. And that's, in our society, a strength. Because for too long, we've been morally equivocating. Oh, we can't do this. They're not that bad. We have to understand them. No. Kill them. Give it a last word.
Okay. Let's understand that they're bad and go after them. If you read mystery stories, as I do, you know that the detective always wants to put himself into the mind of the criminal so that he can better track him down and prevent him. That's one point. And I think that the other point is that Bush's rhetoric, which I think is very useful as the bully pulpit rhetoric, is now saying, evildoers, we must get them. But I will bet that in the councils of the government, they're not using that language. They're using the language of strategy. They're asking, where are these guys coming from? What are their grievances? What are these grievances going to lead them to do next? And how can we anticipate and defeat them? That's a lot better way of talking and thinking than hurling around absolute moral judgments that do no one any good.
All right, Dean, we'll let the audience decide as always. We thank you very much for coming on The Factor
thank you
tonight.
very much.
All right. And next, millions of Americans are turning to religion in this time of crisis, but one bishop has some very serious questions about doing that. Right back with that report as The Factor continues from Oakland, California this evening.
The American flag. It symbolizes freedom and justice for all mankind. Throughout the land, millions of Americans are proudly displaying the flag. Introducing the American Freedom Collection. A set of 2 quick display flags, one Old Glory flag and the exclusive God Bless America flag. Each flag is made of weatherproof, fade-resistant material. They attach to your car window in seconds. Just slide the slot in the window. It's that easy. It looks great on mailboxes, bikes, trucks, even inside your home. The American Freedom Collection also includes 4 reusable peel-in-place flags. There's no glue. Just peel off the flag and it'll cling to any smooth surface. Call now and receive your personal American Freedom pin. You get everything. The Old Glory flag, the God Bless America flag, the peel-in-place flags, and flag pin. The entire American Freedom Collection for just $14.99. Call now.
To order your American Freedom Collection for only $14.99 plus shipping, have your credit card or checkbook ready and call 1-800-203-4949.
2 minutes from now, turning to religion in a time of terror. Is it just a quick fix or a valid way to fight back? We will hear from a very controversial bishop when The Factor returns in just 2 minutes from now.
Hi, I'm Rick from Empire Glass. Let Empire Glass replace your cracked windshield and will now pay up to $100 of your comprehensive insurance deductible. And will now give you 24 free dinners to Sherry's, the Northwest's #1 family restaurant and bakery, with any windshield replacement. So for the highest in quality windshields, including up to $100 off your comprehensive deductible and 24 free dinners to Sherry's, call Empire Glass today at 251-9881. When you think glass, think Empire.
I'm not talking to you!
Now families can enjoy the ultimate web experience and use the phone line at the same time.
Hold on a sec. Don't you get it?
I think she's in love.
Introducing Quest Connected Home. It's your home phone line with tons of great features, plus unlimited MSN broadband powered by Quest for just $72.90 a month. Now even get free activation, a $99 value. This is staying connected. This is riding the light. Quest.
At the Porterhouse Restaurant, good food and good fun come together. Many restaurants have good food, but the Porterhouse Restaurant combines it with a fun, friendly atmosphere. So come in and enjoy a night out. From karaoke to the newest ITS golf game, you'll never get bored at the Porterhouse. When your meal is ready, you can enjoy outside dining next to the waterfall or relax and watch the game in our sports bar. Good food and good fun at the Porterhouse Restaurant on McLaughlin, south of the Bomber, across from the Oak Grove Fred Meyer. When you're looking to buy or sell a home, it's important to keep in touch with the local market. That's why you should tune in to the Coldwell Banker Barbara Seal Properties Tour of Homes show. You'll find local listings in a variety of shapes, sizes, and price ranges. And at Coldwell Banker, you'll find real estate professionals who work to achieve the perfect balance of needs for their clients. Look to the Coldwell Banker Tour of Homes show 7 days a week only on TV Mart, AT&T Cable Channel 15. Let us help you find your dream home.
In the Back of the Book segment tonight, turning to God to help in the fight against terrorism. With us now is Episcopal Bishop John Shelby Spong, the author of the book, A New Christianity for a New World, Why Traditional Faith is Dying and How a New Faith is Being Born. You're an iconoclast when it comes to religion. You look at it in a completely different way. And I'm sure you weren't surprised to see the vast outpouring of people going to church and praying, God bless America, all of this after the terror attack. But you have some pause because of it, right?
Well, not really. I think people turning to God is always a good thing. What do you do when you turn to God becomes the question. And if you look at history, people that have turned to God have been as violent as people who have not turned to God. It depends a great deal on what kind of God you're turning to. And the God who is portrayed as a supernatural being somewhere up in the sky, dispensing reward to good people and punishment to bad people, is so often what we turn to. And it all depends on who you think is good and who you think is bad.
There's a simplicity to it. But would you say that I was wrong because I'm advocating violence against the evil terrorists? Am I wrong in doing that?
I think that we all have a responsibility to protect that which we value. And I think that's what you're suggesting. How you protect it, Bill, is a real question. Does violence kill violence, or does it give birth to more violence? It's always a debate. Is war a proper response? Do we murder people to stop people from murdering people?
Yes.
Those are always the issues.
Do.
And well,
I'll just flat out say yes. There are some evil people in the world, and I know Dean Fish doesn't like that word, that you have to kill to stop them from putting people in concentration camps and gassing them. I mean, we've seen this. We've seen this over and over and over in history.
Whether you have to kill them or not is a question. You certainly have to contain them.
All right. I'll put them in the Arctic Circle.
They cannot be allowed to violate the life of the society.
But here's an interesting moral question. We are praying to God to help America right now because America was attacked for no reason at all. We didn't do anything to these people, and if they want to, have a torturous explanation, let them. But now we have to attack a nation, Afghanistan, which allowed the terrorists to exist and prosper and formulate this plan. I feel no guilt at all about attacking Afghanistan because of their role in this attack. Again, am I wrong?
Well, I don't know that I want to say that you're wrong. That's not my position. I do think that the Christian faith says that we are known by our ability to love, and we're known even by our ability to love our enemies. And that's a pretty radical thing. But you see, I think what Christianity is calling us to is a new kind of humanity, beyond the barriers of tribe and prejudice and all of the other things that divide.
But don't you have to eliminate the threat of your own?
Well, I live in a post-20th century world at this point. I see human life as deeply interrelated. I see us as psychologically interrelated. I don't know how you can finally isolate evil outside yourself and decide you're going to kill it. I think evil permeates all of this world, and we've got to be on guard.
But aren't there varying degrees of evil? See, I'm not saying kill all the dope dealers.
But
they're
earlier
evil.
in your segment, you had, in one of the segments, you talked about the Inquisition. That was Christianity deciding that it would violate anybody that disagreed with the...
And that, you know what?
And
Osama bin Laden's doing the same thing right now.
That's correct. Now, that's what I think we have to be on lookout for. Religion can turn demonic.
Easy.
In the name of religion, we murder people at abortion clinics because we disagree on the issue of abortion.
No. Wait a minute. Let me stop you there. We don't do that.
Well, I'm talking about the corporate
A couple of kooks do that.
Okay.
But now we have a different
they're motivated
threat.
by religion in the same way that these suicide pilots were motivated by religion. That's not my judgment. My judgment is only that evil has to be recognized and it has to be contained. I'm not going to be soft
Contained
on that.
or killed.
Well,
one of the two.
Okay, but
if you can't contain it.
To me, if God is the God of life and love and being, then I don't serve that God by acting against life, against love, or against being. I think we can contain those elements that are destructive to our society, and I think we have a responsibility to do that. It's fascinating to me that in Europe, where they don't have capital punishment, they have a lower murder rate than we have in the United States.
But there's a lot of reasons for that in Europe, and you know the sociological reason for it. All right, let me make one statement. You can have the 30 seconds to close it out. What I believe is that this is not a time to be philosophical. This is not a time to say, oh, we have to seek it out and contain it. We have to protect. We, the media, the government, we have to protect the people. There's a baby with anthrax, all right? There are 7,000 dead Americans in the street. We need to take direct action here. And I, as a Christian, I feel no guilt, no compunction in doing that. I'll give you the last word.
Well, you are a conservative, and that's
No, I'm not. I'm an independent thinker.
Okay, well, that's not a bad word either, to be a conservative.
It is not a bad word.
But conservative people tend to see all issues black and white. Liberal people tend to see lots of shades of gray. Both are necessary to the building of a good society
that's true.
and a free America.
But I think Osama bin Laden is rooting for the gray right here, Bishop. That's what he's rooting for.
I don't think he's in the gray. I think he needs to be
No, but he's rooting for. He wants you to see the gray.
No,
I don't.
He's not going to make it.
Let's hope not. Let's pray that he doesn't. Bishop, thanks very much for coming in. Always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll wrap things up. The most ridiculous item of the day and some of your mail.
I want you and your friends off the streets until I can sort this thing out. Jack the Ripper's not finished.
This was all in your vision.
Your vision's about me.
Most definitely.
Johnny Depp, Heather Graham, in a film by the Hughes brothers that Ebert and Roper give 2 thumbs up. The suspenseful pop extravaganza. Haunting. Brilliant.
I gave birth to the 20th century.
You're not going to see the 20th century.
From Hell, rated R. Friday, only in theaters.
These babies are not models. They were conceived using the Clear Plan Easy Fertility Monitor. It unmistakably tells you more fertile days each cycle than any leading method, so you have the best chance to get pregnant. Clear Plan, clear results.
The students and faculty of Boston Public faced a lot of challenges this past year, but nothing can prepare them for her.
Are you a real teacher?
Are you a real student?
Jerry Ryan joins the cast of Boston Public Monday, October 29th on Fox.
Is this all you're using your computer for? Hi, I'm John Scherer, CEO and founder of Video Professor. I want to help you get more out of your computer with my free computer learning CDs. For instance, I'll get you started on computers with my Learning Windows CD. My Internet CD will show you how to surf the web and send and receive email. Use my Word CD to create great-looking documents. Or try my Quicken tutorial to put your finances in order. So if you call now, I'll send you one free. You just pay a small shipping and handling. Now, the reason I'll do this is because I know that once you try my product, you'll come back to us for all your computer learning needs. You know, if you can't learn, I'll even refund your shipping and handling. So if you want to get more out of your computer than just playing games, this is the best computer learning you'll ever find. It's free. Try my product.
To get your free computer learning CD, you must call now. Call 1-800-510-8814.
The Political Pulse, the War on Terror. From the nation's capital, our Team Washington, with breaking news, exclusive interviews, and live updates. Special report with Britt Hume. The War on Terror, the state of the markets, the safety of your family, the security of our nation. Stay with the network America trusts, Fox News Channel. America strikes back, and the business community gears up for a long and costly battle. Stay with the Fox News business team, keeping you up to date and informed as events unfold.
Time now for the most ridiculous item of the day. Black militant Louis Farrakhan has issued a statement saying he wants more proof that Osama bin Laden is behind the terrorist attacks. Well, with all due respect, Mr. Farrakhan, I would like more proof that you're not a complete lunatic. And that's the most ridiculous item of the day. And finally tonight, the Mail, Michelle Grigsby, Beaver Creek, Ohio. I have had it. I usually like you, O'Reilly, but whose side are you on? Your report about bad security at our nuclear weapons facilities exposed our weakness to the terrorists. You are telling too much. Caroline Dorsey, Trotwood, Ohio. Mr. O'Reilly, I'm sure the enemy appreciates the information given by you about our nuclear weapons. My God, don't you folks understand? Well, with all due respect, ladies, and for all the other viewers who questioned our report on our nuclear weapons security, this has been going on now for more than 6 years, okay? The only way our security is going to get better is for the media to expose the incompetence of the Department of Energy. If you guys want to keep your head in the sand, you go right ahead, but I'm not going to do that. Our nuclear weapons are at risk, and the feds have got to do something about it, and the only way that's going to happen is if we embarrass the heck out of them. John Worrell, Clifton, Colorado. Bill, for crying out loud, keep concentrating on securing our nuclear storage facilities. Well, I will, Mr. Worrell. Emil Imbro, Neptune, New Jersey. Mr. O'Reilly, I was shocked to hear about our bad security at the nuclear weapons facilities. Why isn't everyone in the media screaming about this? I'm not sure, Mr. Imbro, but the television media these days is very, very timid, as you may know. About a report on anthrax and psychological warfare, Jennifer Pendergrass, Greensboro, North Carolina. Bill, as long as the media continues to sensationalize the anthrax story, story, the public has no choice but to be worried. Lori Ferguson, Newmarket, New Hampshire. Mr. O'Reilly, after hearing all anthrax all the time on the news, I actually missed the Chandra Levy, Gary Condit story. Paula Garten, San Diego. O'Reilly, thank you. I've been saying to all who would listen that the story about the baby didn't make any sense. She was the only one at ABC who contracted anthrax. Please follow up on it. Dr. Justin Matriciano, Northport, New York. Americans must realize there's a greater chance that they will suffer a serious injury driving to their local pharmacy than by being exposed to anthrax. About our follow-up story on the South Florida professor who has alleged terrorist ties. Frank Klagemont, Portland, Oregon. Bill, would it be okay with the University of South Florida if O.J. Simpson were to teach a course on domestic violence? Lee Terracone, Greenfield, Indiana. O'Reilly, would Professor Al Ariane be sanctioned if he had raised money for the Ku Klux Klan? And Joe Cranzano, Pipersville, Pennsylvania. Billy Boy, you are a boorish oaf. The doctor who was explaining how charities work was obviously knowledgeable, but you were confrontational. Get over yourself. Number one, Mr. Cranzano, get a new expression. Number two, Dr. Boris's solution was to create another bureaucracy to fix an already incompetent bureaucracy. Number three, confrontation is needed when people are not making any sense. And how about the website? We don't need confrontation in there because that makes plenty of sense. We got all kinds of stuff on the website, including my interview with the city council lady from Berkeley, California. You got to see that. And how about emailing us, O'Reilly? Change.